The wonder had barely begun. I only had time to tweet a moan about a perfectly good terrace on Argyle Street being despoiled by the stucco-clad numbers 16 and 18, when rounding the corner onto Widbourne Street there were police running and shouting all over the shop. At first I thought they'd made ponting about in art galleries with a camera illegal, as the King assures me has been enacted in Glasgow and they were after me. But their attention was a gent who, between language one rarely hears in church, claimed to have brain cancer as the police wrestled him to the ground. Searching later didn't reveal any mention of the incident, so I have no idea what the gent was suspected of. Excitement over, I shot this period an untouched workshop of C.E. Norris & Sons Limited, who were a construction company incorporated in 1932 and last filed accounts in 1999. The relative tranquillity of Brunswick Square Gardens was next, where if I'm early for my train, I'll while away the time pleasantly. In contrast, Russell Square is usually a busy thoroughfare, in which, through the trees, one could discern the 1930s built Art Deco Senate House for the University of London. During the Second World War it housed the Ministry of Information and is widely reported served as the inspiration for the Ministry of Truth in George Orwell's novel 1984. I took a small detour to Page and Vincent Streets, where one's spirits always lift at the sight of the Grosvenor estate. The estate was designed by Edwin Lutyens, with construction between 1928 and 1936, by which time the number of flats reached nearly 600. The layout is comprised of 7 blocks of 5 and 6 stories. Built around paved, airy communal courtyards in large U-shapes, the southern ends remain empty of flats, but cite single-storey pavilions acting as gatehouses. A high gallery access runs around the inner courtyards. Tothill House and Rogers House, the 2 biggest blocks, occupy the middle grid, each containing 141 flats. There were more flats, but a section of each house's inner wing was demolished in 1970 to accommodate a garden and playground. Tothill House was granted Grade 2 listed status in February 1970. While taking a look at Andre Wallace's The Helmsman sculpture in Pimlico Gardens, I fell into conversation with 2 lads partaking of a smoke. Donning my journo hat, I asked, "How much is an ounce around here?"
"An ounce?"
one exclaimed, confused by either the word or amount. This pair obviously didn't purchase family-sized bags of dope. "An eighth then?"
"A what?"
More confusion. Has dope dealing gone metric all of a sudden? Is it green or solid?
"What?"
Nonplussed flashed across their eyes. What are they teaching the kids in school these days? I tried again. Is it grass or resin?
"What? It's a £20 score, innit, bro?"
I thanked them for their time and wandered off. Reaching Battersea, I sought a sandwich for lunch, choosing a Sainsbury's £3 meal deal. The King keeps my expenses for these videos very low. 0 in fact. Sandwich secured, I passed a queue outside a coffee house. Knowing this scene would annoy Tarquin, I sent him the photo and tweeted his response. Well, a censored version.
"Bedwetting. Half-wits to a man."
I received a Twitter reply from @Hickster99 stating the people outside the coffee house were actually queuing for food. I conveyed this information to Tarquin and he replied,
"So what? They have the look of bedwetters."
Tarquin has spent time in Partick and consequently recognises a bedwetter when he sees one. After lunching in the sun with a Thames view, what more could one ask for? The park was explored. There are no hills in Battersea Park from which to view the city. The odd mound, though. Atop one such mound near the Chelsea Gate entrance was this lonely forlorn bench. I adore lonely benches. Not so adorable was this Barbara Hepworth sculpture. Her work lacks the spiky, angular awkwardness I favour in sculptures. Her style is far too organic. Battersea is a proper park, possessing as it does a classic Victorian bandstand. And we all know Victorian bandstands are cool. Unfortunately, after hours of searching, I can find no information about the bandstand. It doesn't even appear to be listed. Surely this can't be correct. Surrounding the bandstand are these lovely cast iron ended seats. Set in 200 acres of a 346 acre 1846 acquisition, totalling £230,687, 16 shillings and 4 pence, work began on Battersea Park in the same year the land was purchased, under the supervision of James Pennethorne. It was opened 8 years later, in 1858, with construction continuing until 1864. Laying out the park, including the formation of the roads on its west, south and east sides, other external roads and the river embankment amounted to £80,000. In a 1903 report, annual maintenance was stated as £12,098. Making my way back to King's Cross, I paused on Chelsea Bridge, entranced by the haze above the river, looking towards Albert Bridge. What a fantastic vista!